Welcome back to Dreamcatchers. Today is a special episode featuring Kahnawake MMA fighters. With me in studio now is Xander McCumber, my cousin, and he's been a fighter for a couple of years now. When did you start, Xander?
I started about 3 years ago when I went to Mark Fraser's gym and just worked out a lot there, and so it got me started.
How old were you then?
3 years ago? I guess around 20.
20? Okay,
20.
I always forget how old you are.
Yeah.
So what interested you in doing MMA fighting?
Well, just watching from UFC when I was younger, just watching them, how they fight, and I was always interested. And seeing my friends fight, and that got me more interested and wanted me to do the same thing and get involved.
Mm-hmm. So when was your first fight? And were you nervous?
My first fight was probably when I was 21, and that was probably the most nervous thing I ever had, because just waiting to go into the ring, and just your heart's pounding, but once you're in the ring, it just all goes away.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do to prepare for that fight?
I had a lot of training with Mark and a lot of conditioning. That's one of the most important things in a fight, because anyone can throw a punch. It's just how long you can last for.
Mm-hmm. So did you win or lose that first fight?
I won that fight. I won by decision, won all 3 rounds, and ended up getting fight of the night. So,
wow, how did that feel to like win and then get fight of the night?
well, it's always good to get the win, and just celebrated. I didn't really know what to say after that, and just had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. What was your friends and family's reaction to?
As soon as I got out of the ring, I ran up to my dad right away, gave him a big hug. He had a big smile on his face, and my sister the same thing. And then my mom was excited, but she didn't go because she doesn't like it when I get hit.
Aw,
Yeah,
that's cute.
Mama's boy.
I can see your mom doing that. So what's the hardest part about being an MMA fighter?
Hardest part is probably a lot of training you have to do for the fight. Like the last week before, probably is just a lot of conditioning. To get your strength up and to last long, and the cutting the weight, and that's the toughest part.
Mm-hmm. How often do you train a week?
Right now I'm training like almost every day, twice a day, as much as I can. And
isn't that a bit exhausting for you to train twice a day?
Yeah, it is. But when you have the time, you can do it. Take a break once in a while. Have an off day and then go back to it the next day.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of training do you do exactly?
Well, usually every day I'll go to the gym, do weights, body work, conditioning. Then at night I'll go to the schools for jiu-jitsu and boxing and striking and things like that.
What's your favorite workout?
Probably sleeping. That's always the best part.
No, really. What's your favorite workout?
Probably the jiu-jitsu, because when you're on the ground, there's so many ways you can tap out an opponent with armbar, legs, neck, and there's a lot of moves you can pull out.
Mm-hmm. So what was your favorite fight to date?
My favorite fight was probably my last one, which is in Saint-Constant, because it was just like right in our backyard pretty much, and had the support of town. There was a whole bunch of people there. Even though I lost, but I mean, it's probably one of my best fights I had so far.
Mm-hmm. What's people's reaction from town that you're an MMA fighter now?
Oh, well, wherever I go, everyone's talking about, oh, you're still training, you're still fighting. I said, yeah, I tell them they should start getting into it, and so yeah, it's always good to hear stuff like that.
Do any of the little kids look up to you?
Sometimes they challenge me to fight, and then I just laugh at them, and when you get older, maybe.
So what inspires you to continue training?
It inspires me just see my friends do it and see how they're pushing themselves, and then even the same thing on UFC, how hard they train, and then I got my family behind me, telling me, motivating me, make me keep going.
Me. So how far do you want to go? Like, is there a specific fighter in the UFC that you aspire to be like, or the kind of career that you want to have?
Well, there's a lot of fighters you can pick out of UFC, but if I had to choose, it'd have to be Robbie Lawler. He's in Strikeforce. And we're going to have a few more amateur fights, and then hopefully, if it ends good, try to take a shot at pro and see what happens from there.
Mm-hmm. At what age do you want to go pro? Is there a certain age, or you just think after a certain amount of experience?
After experience, maybe like 3 or 4 more fights and see what happens there, and if I'm ready, then take the next step.
What kind of steps do you need to take to go pro?
Well, you just have to do a lot more training and as much as you can and just work every basic thing that you can do.
And you mentioned earlier, like one of the fighters that you admired. What is it about his career that you particularly admire?
He's just he's like an all-out fighter. Like he does everything, like things you wouldn't expect him to do, he'll do it, and that's what exciting. That's what I like about UFC. Like you never know what could happen, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
What was the craziest thing that happened during a fight that really threw you off?
Probably, I believe his name was Anthony Pettis in UFC when he jumped on the cage and did a flying kick and knocked the guy out. That was, I want to try to do that one day.
What was the craziest thing that you ever did while you were fighting in the ring?
Craziest thing I ever did was, I don't think I had any crazy things like that.
No, nothing crazy? Did anyone ever pull anything on you that was like, whoa, that was really cool?
No, didn't happen yet, but I'm hoping next
You're
fight
hoping and you're waiting.
I won't let anyone down next fight.
So when is your next fight?
Next fight is supposed to be March 31st, and they're trying to get it held in town over here, so hopefully get the town behind us and find a place.
Yeah. Do they have any locations in mind?
Well, we were supposed to have it at the ranch, but then the fire happened. So, but right now they're going to look around and see what's available.
Right. Okay, well, I hope that works out. So before we sign off, what would you recommend to someone who's interested in doing MMA fighting?
Well, if they're interested, just keep going. Don't stop. I mean, if it's something that you want to do, but it's going to take a lot of work to get there. Just try to train as much as you can every day, and eventually you'll have your first fight, and it's like the best feeling in the world when you get your first win.
If you were to talk to someone who's 10 years old right now, and you were to give them advice, what exactly would you say to them, to the younger bunch?
If they're interested in it?
Yeah.
Finish school first, and then and then go to the gym and start training. Take little baby steps at a time. Don't rush. Get to know everything right away.
Well, thank you, Xander, for being on. This is Dreamcatchers, a special episode on MMA fighting. Hair and makeup provided by Gogozio's Beauty Salon. Thanks for watching.